I love seeing your faces. Thank you so much, so much, not only for attending our monthly webinars, you are our family, but also for taking the time to spend this beautiful day with us. Excellent, wonderful. And I noticed that you said the Shirodhara is something that you fell in love with. And I'm finding that most of our clients, they ended up saying exactly the same thing. They love the treatments, but there's something about Shirodhara that they fall in love with. Can you kind of put a finger on it? Can you pinpoint what is it that makes people to really fall in love with Shirodhara?
Oh, that's a good question. It's one of those treatments that I think if you described it to someone, you wouldn't really be able to comprehend what it feels like. Like you say, okay, we're pouring oil on the forehead.
That's right.
Like that sounds nice, but it really goes so much deeper than that. That people who have Shirodhara, it's all kinds of different experiences. First of all, it's really deeply relaxing. So a lot of people fall asleep during it. It's very common. But it's a different kind of sleep where it's very nourishing, it's very healing. The way Dr. Lad described Shirodhara is it's kind of like going back into the womb. So that's the way we set up Shirodhara in our treatment rooms, is to be very womb-like. So it's completely dark. We try to have it as silent as possible, and that's traditional. And you're just there with a therapist, and the therapist is silent during the treatment, just there holding space for you. And it's a really beautiful treatment, just very deeply relaxing, nourishing, nurturing, and really brings a lot of awareness and focus to your third eye.
And we are going to go into a lot more detail about the third eye chakra and how this beautiful Shirodhara actually helps awaken the third eye chakra. Now, but before we go there, you probably noticed that we're here and it's the outdoors. We're doing this exclusively for you from the deck at Sohom, so that way you can get a full appreciation of the Shirodhara. We have also here one of our models, and actually she works at Ayurvedic. Her name is Abby, and I'm extremely thankful for her for actually volunteering to do the Shirodhara here with us today. Now, before we go into any more detail, I would like to get a sense of how many of you have had a Shirodhara before. So if you had a Shirodhara before, just say me on the chat. I just want to get a sense, so that way we can know how much detail can we provide you in the form of education. So yes, Sharon said yes, me. Sol said me. Wow, we have Sol from Pakistan here as well. Thank you. All right. Anyone else have done Shirodhara before?
See a hand.
Yes, Kieran. I see hands. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Wonderful. Okay. Christiane as well. Beautiful. Okay. So the Shirodhara is one of 3 signature treatments. Can you just briefly talk about the 3 signature treatments and then go into why the Shirodhara is the last one?
Absolutely. So our signature treatments is what we call a whole body serenity, which is something that our Panchakarma clients have every day while they're here. So the first one is an Abhyanga, which is a 2-person oil massage, which is the most traditional. That in Ayurveda, it's 2 therapists working on one client at the same time. And it's not just regular massage. It's a synchronized oil massage. It's a sequence that was created by Dr. Lad. So it's very specific, very choreographed. It's a really special treatment. So you have that massage first, and then you have a steam treatment, or Swedana. So Swedana is just sitting in a steam box for about 10 minutes, and the purpose of that is to just break a gentle sweat. So some people come here and they think, if a little is good, more must be better. It's kind of the Western mentality.
Yeah.
They think, I want to sweat out toxins. But that's not the case. We don't want to sweat out toxins. We just want to open the pores so the oil can go deeper into your system. And that helps guide any toxins down the GI tract. So when you do the Basti enemas later in the week, that the toxins or the ama can be released that way. So first Abhyanga, and then Swedana. And then the third treatment is the Shirodhara that we're doing, which is the pouring of the oil on the third eye. And that's for 20 minutes at the end. We do the Shirodhara, and it's just a really nice way to end that whole body serenity and just ground. Very beneficial for a lot of things. Helps balance Vata and Pitta dosha. It's great for the brain and the mind, things like anxiety, depression, mental health. and then also just creating balance within the doshas.
Nice, beautiful. So the whole sequence of all three treatments is very intentional for what I see, right? It's like first the preparation with the abhyanga and guiding all the toxins to the middle of the body, then the actual absorption of those oils, and then last one coming down the nervous system, pretty much?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, one thing that I notice is that oftentimes when we're thinking about our health, we think about, okay, I need to take care of something physical, right? It's very unusual when we actually focus on the spiritual or the mental side of things. And for what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that stress can also be a trigger of diseases. When we are living a life that is full of stress, that we're continuously on the fight or flight, and we're not allowing the body to calm down, the body doesn't have the chance to restore and to regenerate all those cells that have been either absorbed toxins or accumulated already, a lot of the things that we're holding emotionally as well. So would you say then that the shiro is really good to help calm down the nervous system and the stress?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's very good for that. And Ayurveda, everything comes down to vata, pitta, and kapha. And vata, pitta, and kapha all have emotions tied to them.
That's right.
So like an imbalance of vata could lead to anxiety. Anxiety and fear would be very common. So then with Shirodhara, by doing this treatment, it helps calm that vata, which will help calm anxiety, anxiety and fear and things like that.
Yeah, for sure. And as Dr. Ladd always says, whenever we are holding emotions, those emotions are actually going directly to giving organs. There is a direct correlation or association between our emotions and the organs. So there is hence a reason why he put all these two treatments together to make sure that we're also working on the emotional, the mental side of things, not just the body, because it does have an impact ultimately in the body, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, how long is the whole treatment from beginning to end, including the Shirodhara?
So the whole body serenity altogether is 90 minutes. The Shirodhara, we actually schedule the Swedana and Shirodhara together, which is 40 minutes.
Okay. And do you find that there is people that would like to do or that do just the Shirodhara? Is it recommended? Or do you feel like the whole full body serenity is what is more recommended, more effective?
I mean, of course, the whole body serenity is wonderful.
All three.
All three are wonderful. But you can absolutely have a Shirodhara by itself.
Okay.
That's very beneficial. Lots of people come in just for Shirodhara. And it's very beneficial for a lot of things. It's great for sleep. It's great for anxiety, depression, vata, pitta, lots of things. So you can absolutely have a Shirodhara by itself.
Great. Now, as of right now, the Shirodhara, as I said, is part of our full body serenity program and with the Panchakarma. And very soon we're going to be opening a brand new day spa where you're going to be able to come and enjoy these treatments either separately or together. So be in the lookout for that, because we're going to be sending some announcements with the day that we're going to be opening the day spa here very, very soon in the fall. Now, let's talk about this setup. Obviously, there is this beautiful copper vase that goes right above your forehead. And this is traditional from India. Can you explain to us, like, what is the logic and the science behind having this beautiful copper vase, like, just streaming that oil down into your forehead?
So in Ayurveda, I like talking about the word sneha when we talk about Ayurveda, because the word sneha, it means oil, but it also means love. So I think that's really the way that we view oil in Ayurveda, that it's love. So by pouring that steady stream of warm oil on the forehead, it's a way of just putting intention to that place. It's love, it's healing, it's all those things.
Nice. Again, calming down that nervous system, making sure that we leave the stress someplace else and that we're allowing our body to heal. Now, you talked about the third eye chakra, and this is something that is really appealing to a lot of people from a consciousness point of view, because it's not only now about calming down the nervous system and healing, but it is also about connecting with our higher self. So if you're familiar with the chakra system, which are the 7 chakras within the body, there is actually more outside, but the ones that are well known are the 7 chakras. The third eye chakra is right here in between your eyebrows. And that is exactly where the oil will be pouring. So is there something about like the feeling that actually allows that third eye chakra to open up, or is it the warmth? What is it?
You know, Shirodhara, it's a very gentle, subtle treatment. The temperature of the oil, you want it to be just around body temperature or a little bit warmer. Mm-hmm. So the actual feeling of it is very subtle, but it really works on an energetic level. Mm-hmm. And just tapping into that third eye, and that manifests in lots of different ways for people. Sometimes they might just fall asleep and it's just really deeply relaxing. Sometimes people have really interesting dreams where they can tell like something inside of them in their subconscious or their intuition, something was tapped into. So lots of different experiences with Shirodhara. I've heard people say that they were able to see outside their body, you know. Wow. Lots of different things.
Yeah, absolutely. And I find that there is some people that do it, they do the panchakarma with the purposes of healing, obviously. But I have found that there is also a group of people that are doing it because they're wanting to reach higher levels of consciousness. So by going through the detoxification of their body, they're fully healthy. They're completely healthy. There is no health concerns. But they do want to have a healthy diet, make sure that they're not putting any new toxins into their body. They're detoxifying. And they're also looking at connecting with their higher self. So I think this is a beautiful practice because you get it every single day, except for the day of arrival and the day of departure. So if that's your journey and that is what you're hoping for, you know that you can do it from a health perspective as well as from just enrichment of your spiritual being as well. Now, we talked about the base and how the oil is dripping, the temperature. Now, is it good for any particular dosha? Is it better for a particular dosha, or is it equally good for all 3 doshas, Vata, Pitta, Kapha?
It will be beneficial for all 3 doshas.
Okay.
So it's a very universal treatment, very gentle treatment. Sometimes even people, if maybe they have contraindications, if they have certain medical conditions where they maybe can't have some other treatments, usually Shirodhara is very universal, that pretty much everyone can have it. But it's particularly good for balancing Vata and Pitta.
Okay, perfect. So regardless of your dosha, Shirodhara can help no matter what, especially nowadays, considering all the stress that we all live on a day-to-day basis. All right, so should we go and do our demonstration? Before we go into the demonstration, let's see if anyone has any questions here before we move on to the massage table. And let's see, Sharon, Gigi, August, Amish, does anybody have any questions before we go into the live demonstration? I see Mariah said hi. Okay, I have someone who did the Shirodhara with Dr. Ladd in New Mexico in 2022. Beautiful, thank you. Also, let's say, Saul said hi again. Would you be speaking about the types of oils? Sharon, great question. Let's go ahead and talk about that. So the oils that we use during our Shirodhara, and actually not only the Shiro, but also the Abhyanga, right? So can you tell us about where do we source the oils from, and how do you select the proper oils for the right dosha?
That's a great question. I'm glad you brought that up. So the oils we use are from Banyan Botanicals, and they're herbalized, which what that means is it's oils that have been cooked and infused with Ayurvedic herbs. And then once they've been cooked with those herbs, the herbs are strained off. So, you know, the oil itself is clear, but it's been infused with the properties of those herbs. So we have typically what we use is Shirodhara oil, which is an oil that's been specifically formulated for this treatment. Okay. So it has both Brahmi and Bhringaraj in it, which are both very good herbs for the brain and the mind. It has a sesame base. But there's also other methods of Shirodhara. There's a lot of methods out there. There's methods of Shirodhara that use water. There's methods that use milk, yogurt. quite a few different things. So when you come here for Panchakarma, something that's really beneficial is you have that design call with the practitioner before you even come. So then we can prepare if there's something special for you or something that would be beneficial for your health situation or what you have going on. We can prepare for that ahead of time and accommodate it.
That is beautiful to know. For those of you thinking about scheduling a Panchakarma, just remember to share all of those details about your health, if you have any allergies. And in fact, not only if you're coming here to Soham for a Panchakarma, but at any point in time when you're going to get any treatments, massage, anywhere, just let your practitioners know. All right. So let's go ahead and go for the demonstration. How about we do that?
All right.
Yeah?
Great.
Let's go. So now Julia is moving on to the massage table. So that way we can do the live demonstration from there.
All right. So we have our beautiful model, Abby, here. And I'm just going to show you how I would get her set up just like any client in a Shirodhara. So I have the pot pulled away from her head. First, we can talk a little bit about the machine we use here. Is that okay?
Yes, please.
So we have this machine here that's wonderful. It's called a Shiro Bliss. And traditionally in Ayurveda, the way that they might do it is they would have the oil pour, and then they would have to constantly refill the pot to keep the oil flowing. And when they do that, it's kind of noisy. It's a little disruptive. This is a very traditional treatment. It's very ancient, so that was the best way to do it at that time. But now we're so lucky that we have these machines because we do have it with a pump, and it's completely silent. And it cycles the oil through so we can reuse the same oil. And then we have this bowl here that the oil pours into, and it reheats the oil. So we have a little screen here where we have the temperature. Right now it's set to 102 degrees, so just a little bit over body temperature. And it will stay at this temperature, which is so nice for the treatment to just have that consistency so you can really sink deeply into it. So now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get our beautiful model set up. So she has very nice hair that I'm going to get set up first.
Now, do you recommend for clients to take a shower before they come for their treatments, or it doesn't matter?
I usually wouldn't because you're going to have to shower afterwards.
Okay.
So, yeah, if your hair is oily, we're going to get it more oily. So don't worry about that. Abby, I'm going to place a cool towel over your eyes. And this is for a couple reasons. This is nice. We store so much pitta in our eyes that having the cool towel is really nice just for reducing that pitta. But then also it's will help create a barrier just to make sure we don't get any oil in her eyes. And bring it down just a little bit just to make sure we can get that third eye exposed. So the third eye is not directly between the eyebrows, it's just a little bit above, so that's where I'm going to aim for. And now I'm going to get her hair set up. So Abby, can you just lift your head, please? Thank you. So I just loosely tucked it under. That looks nice. Now I'm going to position the pot over her third eye. Looks good. And I'll cover the hole. And now I'm going to start the pump. And you can see the oil coming through. The oil's already been heated, so it should be a nice temperature. And Abby, I'm going to go ahead and start the pour. So now we have the pour coming through. And I'm just going to bring the pour back and forth over her forehead a few times, just to introduce the temperature. And I'm also saturating her hair because it's also so good for the hair.
So is there a main purpose for balancing the shiro back and forth and going from one side to the other?
I think there's a few purposes for it. I mean, one is it just feels good. That it feels nice to have that temperature across the forehead. It also helps to completely saturate the hair with oil, and it'll help the pour be smoother. Because again, we want to have the treatment be as consistent as possible, smooth, silent. So you can see now her hair is saturated, and just to make sure it's even better, I'm going to just smooth over her hair a couple times.
Okay.
Just to really make sure it's saturated with the oil, and that's going to help the pour be smooth and as silent as possible. And you can see this is set up well because we have a nice little stream coming down. And it's just refeeding the pot, and then the oil's just cycling through. So now I'm going to ask Abby. Abby, how's the temperature feeling? If it wasn't perfect, if you wanted it any warmer or cooler, that's the really nice thing about these machines is that I just have little buttons on here that I can adjust the temperature up or down just by pressing a button, which makes it so easy to customize for different people. Because some people like it a little warmer, some people like it a little cooler, so it's very easy to adjust.
Beautiful. So for all of you watching, you're getting to see exactly how the Shirodhara works, how it's pouring into Abby's forehead and into her hair. Abby, can you tell us, what are you feeling? She just said pure relaxation. So for those of you that have not tried it, I'm sure you're about to melt right now, hoping that you're getting this beautiful treatment and you can come here to Soho and enjoy it for sure. Now, you talked about pitta, how we hold a lot of pitta around our eyes. And this also can be a tendency to get headaches or migraines. So how would you say this helps with all that pitta going up to our head?
Yeah, it'll help balance pitta and vata dosha. And it's beneficial for all the doshas. So in Ayurveda, and in Panchakarma, clients come to us and they have a lot of health concerns, a lot of them do, where it seems complicated, but really the way we look at it in Ayurveda is everything comes down to, is it vata, pitta, kapha, or is it ama, meaning toxins? And by doing Panchakarma, we help with all those things. We help with balancing your doshas, and then we also help with reducing ama or toxins. And by doing just those things, it's going to bring your body back into balance. So if you are experiencing something like headaches or migraines, those should naturally resolve once you're back into balance.
Right. And it is the combination, right? And not only the treatments, but also the nutrition, the herbs that you will be taking while you're here. Mm-hmm. Also the movement, the breath, the exercises and the practices that we do in the morning, such as the breath work, the yoga, the meditation. So it's the combination of it all that ends up helping people bring their body back into balance, right?
Absolutely. It's everything all together. That you can have these treatments and they're very beneficial on their own, but without doing Panchakarma, you're not going to address the ama or the toxins. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of the additional piece of Panchakarma that's very beneficial, is you're balancing the doshas, but then also helping with ama or the toxins. Mm-hmm. And creating balance in yourself and then learning how to maintain that when you go home. So it's not just that you're here for 7 days and you're fixed and you go back to your life, but we teach you how to continue to become more balanced when you're at home and stay that way.
That's right. Are there any contraindications when it comes to specifically Shirodhara? I know there is 4 contraindications for Panchakarma in general, and those contraindications are making sure that you haven't done another Panchakarma 3 months prior to your arrival, making sure that you are not having surgery 3 months prior to your arrival, that you're not pregnant at the time of your Panchakarma, and also that you're not aware of the presence of cancer, that you're not going through chemotherapy or radiation. But particularly to the Shirodhara, are there any contraindications that you can think of?
It's pretty simple. As long as you can lay comfortably on a massage table, it's pretty good. Yeah. As long as you're comfortable laying down like this, and we can get you in a comfortable position with your neck and you're comfortable laying down, it's pretty good. You can be pregnant, you can have had surgery, all of these things. Okay. It'll still be beneficial.
Perfect. How about side effects?
Side effects. You might be tired.
Okay.
It's very common. It's very common for people to wake up and maybe be a little bit confused at first. A lot of people think, they might be in their room in the morning and then they realize, oh yeah, I was having a treatment. So maybe just a little bit confused or spacey for a while. So we don't recommend driving right after. You know, it might be good to, if you're here, staying here, wonderful. But if you are driving home, maybe rest for a few minutes before driving home. Yeah. But really, I wouldn't say many side effects.
Okay, sounds good. One thing that I've noticed, and I experienced that myself, and that is why I'm speaking about it, but I've also heard from clients that as you're going through all 3 treatments, and especially when you get to the shiro, and I don't know if it has to do with the location where it's placed and how it helps you connect. But some emotions may arise. And those emotions may be sadness. And you may find yourself, as you're going through the Shirodhara, feeling tears coming down, your cheeks. How does the Shiro help with that emotional part? And how come it really opens up our heart as we're going through it?
I think there's something to sometimes when we've been holding on to feelings that maybe we don't want to feel, when we have certain physical sensations, it helps bring that out, and it helps make us realize, I didn't think I was upset about this, but I am. Maybe that could be grief. It could be something, maybe a past trauma that's happened. Maybe, if you've lost a loved one. There's so many things that could be. And sometimes Shirodhara does bring those things out. And the way one of my teachers described it that I really like is it can be hard to have emotional releases, but it's a lot harder to carry those things with you for your entire life.
Oh, wow.
So it's really beautiful when clients are able to release that. And like I said, we're here the whole time. We're here holding space for you. It's a very safe place to experience those things. So we really encourage people that, if it comes up, just don't feel like you need to hold it in.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. And, like Julia said, this is a safe space. We hold a space for you if that ever happens. So, all right. So what happens next after for how long then you have the oil going down the forehead?
So normally we would let this pour go for 20 minutes, and it would just be complete silence where the therapist would just sit here, hold space, and be here if the client needs anything. So we'll pretend that happened. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slowly pull this oil away from her forehead. And I'm going to turn off the pump. So now that the pour stopped, I'm going to say, okay, Abby, we're all finished now. I'm going to bring that out of my way. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to help clean up her hair for her. So first thing I'm going to do is, Abby, I'm going to remove the towel from your eyes. And I'm going to just kind of use this like a squeegee to help get some of the oil out of the hair. But it also feels really nice. Sometimes when we have a release of pitta during the Shirodhara, it can almost make the scalp feel a little bit itchy. So now what I'm going to do is, Abby, can you lift your head, please? Thank you. You can put it back down now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start getting the oil from the hair. So I'm going to just gently squeeze the hair. And this is so good for the hair to just be saturated in oil like this every day. So by the time you leave here, we can guarantee you're going to have beautiful hair.
Do you recommend washing the hair after with shampoo, or do you recommend leaving it on?
So we recommend washing the hair after. You can leave it on for a little bit if you want to, but I wouldn't leave it on for, overnight or anything like that. We do have some tricks to get the oil out because it is a lot of oil. We usually recommend you shampoo first before adding water.
Oh.
And that can help just get the oil out. Sometimes what I do for my hair is I will shampoo first without water. I'll sometimes just dunk my head under the water for a second just to kind of get a lather going, you know. And then I will shampoo a second time, and that usually takes care of it.
Okay.
And now what I'm going to do, now that I got the majority of the oil out, is I'm going to use this towel and do a little scalp massage with it. So I'm going to use my fingertips and just do a little scalp massage. A little scratchy. Like I said, sometimes with the pitta release, the head can feel a little bit itchy from Shirodhara. So it feels really nice just to get a little scalp massage after.
I'll sign up for that.
I know, it's my favorite part.
Who doesn't like a scalp massage, right?
Anytime I get a Shirodhara, if the therapist does not do a scalp massage, it is not complete.
Okay,
that's my feeling.
Now all of you on this webinar know that if you're not getting that scalp massage, it wasn't done correctly.
It's an essential part of a Shirodhara.
Essential. I think Abby's going to fall asleep here now.
And now I'll use the towel to Just get a little bit more of the oil out of the hair just to make it a little easier for her.
Beautiful. It's the details, like she's going through that hair, she's going through it and just getting that oil out, right? It's so beautiful. It's an expertise for sure. It's an art and a science as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you would definitely recommend, obviously, having it done with a professional that knows what they're doing so that way they can do it correctly.
I would. It's just going to make a difference if someone's, been trained and understands the Ayurveda behind it, the art and the science, and the intention of it as well.
Yeah. And the intention is something absolutely beautiful that we should never forget about. It's like when you come to places like Sohom, just thinking about what is the intention, what are you trying to achieve, what are the things that you're working on, and making sure that you are open to receive as well as getting ready to let go. You've mentioned, and we've been talking about the emotional side of things, and just really letting all that arise, letting all that go, letting go of that which no longer serves you. It's instrumental. And these are tools. These are tools that have been used for thousands of years and through Ayurveda in India, now here available in the West. So, they're available to you to come here and use these tools to release anything that you may be experiencing. So we have thank you for that demonstration. That was beautiful. I wish that was me sitting there. So we do have a few questions. I want to make sure that we go through them. And I saw that Saul asked here, let me see. Let's see. Are there any specific points on the forehead to focus on during the Shirodhara?
So really it's just that third eye. So not directly between the eyebrows, but just a little bit higher is the third eye chakra, and that's the point that we're aiming for.
Okay, perfect. And do you do any marma while you're doing the whole shiro, or that's separate during the abhyanga? Or
marma therapy is part of the abhyanga. So as part of the whole body serenity every day, you have the marma therapy where we do points on the head.
Okay. And I know that's not the topic for today's webinar, but can you explain for those people that don't know what marma therapy is, what that is?
Absolutely.
That's
a great question.
Yeah.
So marma therapy, the way I describe it to people is if people are familiar with acupuncture, where a Chinese medical doctor would put needles in certain points in the body. Mm-hmm. Marma therapy is similar to that, where we're working on those same energy points, but it's the Ayurvedic or East Indian version of that.
Okay.
So we're working on the same points, but instead of putting needles in them, we're just doing pressure on them. Okay. So if you've heard of acupressure, that's like just pressing those points. So in marma therapy, we're just pressing the points, and these are points that are infused with energy. And sometimes that energy relates to different parts of the body, mm-hmm. like on the belly, we might have liver points, we might have stomach points, things like that. On the legs, on the feet, on the head, all over the body, we have points that hold energy relating to different areas of the body. And we can press those points for therapy, that it will be beneficial for those areas that they relate to.
Great. Fantastic. Let's see, we have a question here from Christine, and she's asking, why is not recommended to leave the oil in the hair overnight?
In Panchakarma, a few reasons. One is a practical reason that mm-hmm. You're just going to get oil everywhere. But also we just want to make sure that you stay warm in Panchakarma. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when you leave oil on your hair for too long, especially if any toxins have come out of your mm-hmm. body, it almost seals those toxins in, where you want to wash those off. That when you're doing Panchakarma, it is possible that ama or those toxins are releasing from your pores, and you just want to make sure that you're washing those off so they don't stay on your body.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yes. We don't want you to get a cold after. That's the purpose why you're here, right? To take care of all of that. So if anyone has any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself. This is the time where you can just raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask the questions. We're here for you. We have the expert. I would take advantage of it. So if you have any further questions, feel free to unmute. Let's see, I think I heard someone unmuting here. I saw a hand. Please go ahead and unmute yourself. Sol. Oh, okay. All right. Wonderful. Well, for those of you thinking about having a beautiful treatment like this, whether it's just the Shirodhara or if you're thinking about doing a full Panchakarma, which is the 7-night stay at Soul Home, we're actually offering an incredible discount right now. If you book for July or August, right now we're offering a $700 off, and we're also offering a free Basti. Now, some people ask, like, what is a Basti? So why don't you go ahead and explain to us what a Basti is?
Absolutely. So first of all, I think sometimes when people hear Basti, they're confused because sometimes we also use the word Basti to mean an enema.
That's right.
So the word Basti means bladder. Okay. So we use that word for enemas as well because if you have the enema bag, that's a bag that's holding the liquid, we would call that a Basti because that's a bladder holding the liquid. Mm-hmm. But a dough Basti is a treatment. It's an external treatment. It's not an enema. So it's a treatment where we form a dough, and it's made of chickpea flour, whole wheat flour, and water. And we form a dough and then make it into like a donut shape. And then we place that on different parts of the body. Like we could place it around the eye, we could place it on the belly, we could place it on the heart, on the knees, on the back. Mm-hmm. And it's a way to target specific areas of the body that we want to focus on. So for example, we do a Harid, which is a Basti on the heart chakra. So for that treatment, we would place the dough on the body and then seal it. So it's like a watertight seal. And then we fill it with warm flax oil and rose essential oil. Mm. So flax oil is cooling. It has a scraping quality. And then the rose essential oil is very nice for the heart. So this treatment, it's beneficial for the Harid specifically, the Harid Basti. It would be beneficial for the heart itself, so the physical heart, the muscle, and all the cardiac functions. But then it's also beneficial for the emotional heart and the heart chakra, so things like grief would be really beneficial for as well. So Bastis we can do, there's pretty much an unlimited number of Bastis we can do. Sometimes we even have people come in and they're like, well, my hip hurts, can we do a Basti there? Sure. We do lots of different ones. So it's a way to just target a specific area on the body where we have warm or oil that's specifically targeting whatever it is that we would like to target. Treatments that are great for organs, great for pain, sometimes more energetic. Something like a Netra Basti would be really beneficial for Pitta. Like what I talked about, we store Pitta in our eye. So that would be beneficial for pulling excess Pitta from the eye, which is great for a lot of us. Especially if we're, like you and me, we're on our computers all the time. It can cause a lot of Pitta to get in the eye, which can cause like eye strain and things like that. Yeah. So Bastis are a very beneficial treatment for almost everyone. Yeah.
And maybe our next webinar will be about Basti, and we will select one. If you want to send us messages and let us know which one you're interested in learning more about and actually seeing a live demonstration, we will be more than happy to do a webinar on that, so that way you can see how that dough is created, how is it attached to, or not attached, but placed in the body, how the oil is poured. So let us know which one you would like to see. But really, for this grand opportunity is to book a Panchakarma 7 nights. You get $700 off, and you will also get a Basti of your choice. And in fact, for anyone actually booking for July or August, today, before the end of the day, you will actually get an additional $100 off for a total of $800 off your Panchakarma and your amazing Basti that will be done by the beautiful Julia. So if there is no any other questions, thank you so much everyone for attending today. Thank you, Julia, for all your help and your knowledge always. Thank you, Abby, for being the model, and the crew here, our team, for making this happen and going live for all of you, and then making the recording available. Once again, I am here to serve you. My name is Sandy, and I'm your Ayurvedic ambassador to help you in any way that I can. Thank you very much and have a beautiful day. Namaste.